AI is being touted as pretty much a replacement for man's thinking, right? That's about what AI is. It can, they've been touted as being able to think better than humans can, etc., etc., etc. And that's nothing new. We go all the way from the garden where it all started. Man has, starting with Eve, she made her own decision, contrary to God's instruction, God's commandments. Um, you know, so our science, our technology, all of that represent man's ideals, ideas, effort versus God. Look, God created the universe, created man to be a part of it, and so the perfect scenario is our fitting into nature as God created it. That's a perfect scenario. As we've gone our way in sin and rebellion, we have to, we have created our own artificial environment, and etc., etc., etc. Look at life. Look at the way we live as humans today. Everything that you see around you, everything that you see or have heard of that man has created, it's selfish. It's man trying to be his own master. Some of it, it's born out of necessity, because everything we create bring its own set of problems. And so we have to find a solution for that problem. We focus on solving one problem so much so that we don't have time to really see the new problem that it creates, right? We create cars, and we're not thinking about pollutions and this, that, and whatever, gas prices and all that, right? We just need to get from point A to point B more efficiently. And so, that's the way the world of humanity works, because we are always trying to, because we stepped out on our own in God's and created environment. And so we have to come up with artificial things, and thank God that he looked way ahead and saw us in our plight, and he provided stuff that we can try and make up for God's provision. We can try because everything we do is just temporary. We're not creating any real long-lasting fixes. We're not creating anything that compares. The sun's been shining. The sun is going to outshine us. We live and die, and the sun is still shining. River's still flowing. I mean, the moon is still in place. So, we'll never be able to replace the things that God has created. Right? Some of the things God just made sure that it's, it's just, we just can't shake it. And it's a good thing that he has done that, because we would be in trouble. God made the sun so that you can't do nothing to the sun, because the sun is so hot, anything we try to send up there is just going to melt. But we're going to keep trying, though. God has made the sea so that we can't change the sea. We try to go as deep as we can and get down there. We keep on trying to get down there and trying to do all this stuff. But something, God knows how essential they are, and so he made it so that we can't really change it, you know. So no matter what we do, we're always going to be chasing stuff as we try to compensate for things that really God just spoke a word and they were in place. It's a measure of our sin that we're having to chase technology and improvement and this, that, and whatever, right? Technology, it's a snowball. We create one thing and we got to refine it, and then in trying to refine it, we create another, like I said, we create another set of problems. We'll never be able to, replicate God. And so as the God haters, the Jesus haters, as they try to make their own, can you imagine somebody coming in your house and just want to, make themselves comfortable and do whatever they want to do and this, that, and whatever, ignoring your rules, etc., etc., etc. That's what man is doing in planet Earth. This is God's creation. We're all born and see all this stuff here. Every one of them scientists and great supposed creators and people coming up with all these ideas, they come into this world and see the mountains, the sea, the sky, stars, oceans, birds, bees, all the things. We come in here, and every single one of us, it was here when we got here. Every single one of us. All them people that's sitting up here acting like they're so great and they're so knowledgeable and they so this, that, and everything else. Listen to us, follow us. Look what we created and look what we've come up with. They all come in here and see all the stuff, green grass and all that. And they act like, they come up with all these stupid ideas about why it was here and how it got here and Big Bang Theory and all this foolish evolution and all this foolishness. Man, you don't have a clue. You came into this world and you saw all this stuff. Stop trying to come up with these dumb ideas about how it came about. The Bible said in the beginning, God. Take it for what you want. Accept it if you want, but but acknowledge the fact that, hey, we all came into this world and saw this. So if you're thinking otherwise, you're talking about, they're talking about their science, I've shown that the earth is billions of years old. Man, come on. You're setting your own standard. It's like me coming out here and seeing a piece of gum on the ground and saying, hey, I think someone ate this ground, because it's shaped like this, it looks like this, then this, that, and whatever. That's fine. You can do that. But that don't mean you're right. These scientists have no way of proving, they try to challenge the Bible, right? But biblical account. But they have no way of proving anything they say. Especially when it comes to, the origin of the universe and so on and so forth. Because you see the things that we create. So it means that they have mastered, they have unpacked to a certain degree some of the things that God has left in nature. Like, we understand gravity and we understand, that's why we can send planes up and so on and so forth. But we know they got to come down, right? We understand science, we've unpacked some things that God, I think God in His grace, has left in place, things that our mind can wrap around and we can utilize that. Because God is is gracious. You see, even the science is reflecting God's grace and mercy. Because God could have made things, more complicated than, our little human mind could break down. So even in the things that man like to tote and depend on, they don't, you can see God's grace. You know what I mean? So understand this clearly. Humans will never ever be able to replicate or detach themselves from God. Because what we do is we when we don't obey God, we don't live the Christian lifestyle. We have to create stuff for ourselves, right? But we should understand that even in that, it's like you having a bad behaving child. You put them in a corner, but you still make sure that they eat, and they do the things. You still provide a roof over their heads, right? Even in their rebellion, right? They're minors. They can't take care of themselves like that. You still look out for them. And that's what God is doing. So God allow us, to create this technology and do all this stuff. But eventually, we still die. We're still going to stand before God at the judgment. You know what I mean? So all this AI, no matter what they do with it, they make their robots and this, that, and whatever, and it still is limited. They will never ever be able to replace human thinking, human behavior. We'll never be able to replace that. You can't replace what God has put in place, because when God looked on the sixth day, God saw all that he had done was good. It was good. It was perfect. Everything God does is perfect. You can't exceed perfection. So you can't exceed what God has done. So, AI, got up this morning and I don't know how that buzzing fly was in my room. I was going about my business, doing everything else. It was flying all over the place, buzzing. I couldn't see it. So I opened my bathroom door. Let it sit around there, for a while, because I know eventually it's going to go in the bathroom, which it did. Grabbed my fly swatter. Went in, closed the door. It's buzzing around. I couldn't see it. Buzzing loud. Just sit still for a minute. Kept buzzing around. I hear it bang into my mirrors. Turn on the water. With the thought that it's going to drift towards the water a little bit. Yeah, so eventually it pitched on something and it landed and I saw it and this, that, and whatever. Kept buzzing some more, went off, buzzing some more. Eventually it landed and I, bam, I got it. You think AI, you think man can create something that could have went through that process? Or man will invent something that can go through a process like that? No, you can't. It's like from the first moment I hear it, you think we'll ever be able to create some AI robot thing to say, yeah, man, you hear it, just sit still, go open the bathroom door, let it go in there and do all this stuff? No. That's human. That's God-made man thinking on the fly. That's what differentiates us from animals. I'm creating. Let us make man in our image. See, let us create. That's a part of the image of God that we have. That's why we can create all this technology and nonsense. And because listen, you think if lions could think like we do, you think they would allow us to exterminate them? You think if elephants could think like man, you think they would allow them guys to poach their tusk and do all? No, they would get up on us. If animals could think like mankind, they would gang up on us, because as they look, you look around where you live at, right? And you see all the building that we have done, all the stuff that we've, used to be animals' habitat. You know what I mean? Yeah, we have taken over their habitats and we've driven them further and further away into extinctions. They wouldn't allow that if they could think like us. Because that's why we have wars, because we think we're not going to let other people do this and this to us. Animals will rise up against us. So when God said give them dominion, we have dominion over the animals. We come in and we take over and we do whatever we want to do. We can't replicate. We can't, we can come up with our artificial, our man-made stuff, but understand we cannot replace. We can't retire anything God-driven. Everything we have made as mankind, as human beings, all our artificial stuff have limitations. Because we can't think to the height, to God's height. We can't create a perfect anything. Amen. AI. Limitation is just another creation, another thing that we have come up with as we continue in our rebellion, in our sins. What am I saying? Don't avail yourself of it. You don't really have much choice, right? Because as we recreate our environment, we're forced. Jesus could have walked on water, but he still got in the boat. So there's nothing wrong with utilizing the technology. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying understand that our technology represents rebellion, disobedience, rejection of God. Understand that. It's not a good thing. We're creating these crutches. And God is through his grace is allowing it, but understand that it represents sin. That's why it causes death. All our technology, somebody has died directly or indirectly from it. Every single one of our technology. Because the further we drift from God, the closer to death we get. Because God is life. Bless up.